We felt their AI still is fairly disjointed in the sense that we've got companies doing lead management.
There's a lot of conversational AI right now, and everybody's wondering, how does this communicate with my CRM?
When you're at a 66% open rate, that means we're in the inbox in the high 90s. So that means our messages are getting read.
They'd rather have these tech companies, people like you, build the stuff. They're gonna eventually acquire one of these things or a couple of these. All right. Welcome to the CarDealer AI Show, everyone. This show is where we demo AI vendors so you don't have to. Today we have David from Silent Partner AI. David, on this call, you have people from both the dealer and vendor side. We will give you exactly 15 minutes uninterrupted to demo your product as if you were presenting to a potential client. Then we'll follow up with any questions that you have. So it looks like we already have your screen shared, so go ahead and jump right into it, David.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll give you just a little bit of the encompassing piece of this, and that is we felt their AI still is fairly disjointed in the sense that we've got companies doing lead management for within the CRM, we've got service reminders, we've got some voice products, and so our main goal when building Contactor, which is what you're seeing here today, was to bring everything under one platform. So I'm going to kind of walk through the different pieces of it, which are sales, service, campaigns and such. I'm going to be very mindful of your time, and then be able to kind of show you guys what and how we're just a little bit different in combining all of the different aspects of this. Before I do get started, I want you guys to know we're fully certified and integrated in almost all the CRMs. Can't really think of one that we don't do, as well as DMSs on the service side, as well as we do in the service scheduling arena and in PBXs. So we've kind of built this to be turnkey, that we can turn on for a dealer and not have to and still bring all the data into one place. And I think that disjointed data thing is the piece we've been really trying to fit. So what we do first and foremost, as you can see on here, we do real-time inbound leads. And so in this aspect of this, I call it us an engagement tool, lack of a better term. We try to pay attention to a couple of very key indicators. Number one is we're very protective of our domain and our open rate and how we get land in the inbox. We do that extremely well. When you're at a 66% open rate, that means we're in the inbox in the high 90s. So that means our messages are getting read. And what it looks like when you're looking at one of these is we do a couple of different things than other people do also. I hope I'm not going to give away all the secrets, but I want to share and be as open as possible with everybody. We answer the lead. So in this case, Bruce is the AI. The customer service assistant, confirming the vehicle and such, as you've seen in the past. We also send out a text at the exact same time. We call it a double trigger. So the text is going to the customer, and really we keep it just below 140 characters. It's just saying, look, I answered your inquiry. If you don't see it, please check your spam folder, and or if you like the text, go ahead and just respond yes, and I can text with you. In this case, the customer emails back, hey, does the vehicle paint have any scratches or dings? Was it a smoker's car? And then the AI is going to say, look, thanks for reaching back out with your questions. It's a great overall shape. It's clean. And we're trying to build a little bit of rapport with the customer. We're trying to answer their questions. And then my main goal is what I call human in the loop. I want to then pass all this information as each response. We put it into the CRM. So a lot of times we don't even have salespeople working out of our platform. They just work out of their CRM like they normally do, as well as have the ability for us to send alerts and say, hey, you've got a hot prospect, you've got somebody that wants more information, and I want to get that salesperson into the loop as soon as I can. Part of the reason for doing that, and you can see by this conversation, can you send a walk around video? We have the ability to send video. And then what I'm doing is, again, every one of these is an alert. I send to the salesperson, and or I can send to a sales manager, however the processes and business rules are set up in this case, Vin Solutions, and be able to get that person. So we've got salespeople negotiating, showing vehicles, being part of the sales process, and not doing some of this mundane follow up. So that's the main thing about answering these responses as they come in, is I'm trying to engage that customer, give that customer information, and answer the questions. The old school way of doing this was, hey, what's your name and phone number? Dave would like to give you a call. We actually have the ability to look in the inventory. We have the ability to answer questions. If a dealer chooses to, we don't normally like to talk about too much about pricing. We can and give the person MSRP or whatever is going to make them legal with their manufacturer, and as far as lead responses. But if you've got a little bit of leeway, then what we want to do is give them the information, and then pass that on to a human. So I call this our sales piece, and what it does is, again, into the CRM, answering leads. We're also, and then we've got just a little bit of the layout. I've got our contactor daily. These are the hot leads that are occurring right now. I have the ability to source those on people that are, it's going to schedule a future contact, people that are at risk. This is an interesting one. I'll come back after 48 hours and say this first person, I'll say, hey, was your salesperson able to get the information that you wanted? Were you able to get what you needed? And if that customer says anything but yes, then we can send an alert to the sales management, also to the salesperson. A lot of times if they're responding out of the CRM, all we have is a lack of communication. Maybe the CRM didn't get into the inbox. It didn't mean the salesperson didn't do their job, and it didn't mean that the customer was kind of ghosting the salesperson. It just means they didn't hook up and communicate. And so I want to make sure, as a safety net, that I don't let that happen, and we follow up to make sure that our communication is going two-way communication. You can see with these guys, good open rates. We're collecting phone numbers. Then we also do what we have is service campaigns. Service is going to be a little bit like John, you and I have talked about in the past, where a lot of these are overdue services or CSI or missed appointments. I can do opcode declines, but again, in service, I've got a 68% open rate in here, and I have the ability to make sure that I'm getting in front of the customer, reminding them that they need to have service done. We follow the manufacturer's guidelines on that. Or reminding them that they've got a service coming up, or reminding them that they missed one. So we have the ability to reach out, and again, that's going to look something like this. I'll just show you how contact one. And service is always interesting to me. So this started on the beginning of March. Hey, it's been a while since your last visit to Autobarn. We're here to help with your any service needs. What time works? Day and time works best for you. I'm happy to arrange your next appointment. Our top-rated service team is here to assist you. I reached out 2, 3, 4, 5 times before the customer reached back and said, hey, we have a rear driver's side seatbelt isn't fastening. Can I bring it in tomorrow? I send the alert to the service advisor, or their scheduler or their BDC person, however they want these set up. And I'm able to have that, hey, sorry to hear about your issue. I'll have a service representative contact you. And then we put these onto a place where they have visibility from the service team. So again, I've got several different campaigns that I can do with these. When you look at service, we do OnStar, service pit stops, annual inspections, service appointments. And again, it's dynamic enough, and everything that I'm showing you it's all built on open API and new architecture. So customizations are super easy to do. Custom campaigns are super easy to do. Building your own campaigns and letting dealers build their own campaigns, we can do that, or we can do it for them. But a lot of what were some of the things in kind of that first generation AI tools that were in dealerships, that were pretty hard coded in a lot of areas. Now we've got the ability to be very, very dynamic and make a lot of customizations and really not try to put the dealership's processes into the way we think it should be done, but we can work hand in hand with the dealer's processes and make the AI conform to their process better. We find when you're working within the dealer's processes and business rules, we have a lot better adoption, a lot better usage, a lot less churn. And what that's allowed us to do is develop much more deeper partnerships with our dealers so that we're able to build them the things that they're after and not just have to take something off the truck, as I like to say. We're able to kind of get them what they want. Our service campaigns will also go right into your dashboard, and then what we're also doing is being able to then book appointments also if you're using a service scheduling tool. So I'll show you a little bit about that with when we get into voice. The other big request, and again, one of the things I say a lot of times, a lot of what we've built in our platform was kind of inventing it for stores. That's like, hey, could you guys do this? Or we want to do this. One of the big requests is how do I take care in a very easy manner and build my own campaigns for going after anything for on a manifest list or lease maturity or survey reminders, vehicle acquisition. And there was a lot of regimented, it was more decision tree rather than real AI. And so we came out with our own campaign builder where I can create a campaign pretty quickly. I'm just going to do one really super fast. I won't have a lot of detail, but I can enter my campaign name. Let's call it lease renewal. And I can enter how many email campaign I want it to be. And I want the AI to write me a campaign for customers that are leases due in the next 90 days, or I'm sorry, leases up in the next 90 days. And so, again, we used to have to put these variable sets in and arrange the language and do what we wanted as far as within the constraints of having a template already built. Now with dynamic, I can simply go out and generate 3 or 4 or 5 different templates and be able to see, hey, look, I hope this message finds you well. I noticed your lease will be up in the next 90 days. It's the perfect time to explore options. Have you considered what type of vehicle you're interested in next? What's your preferred way of having a person contact you? Again, without trying to get away with too much secret sauce, we also go through our campaigns to make sure they're optimized to get through the inbox and get through all of the different spam filters. One of the things you'll notice is right here we got a probability score. Right now it says its probability, it's AI generated, is 64%. Several of the email providers look for AI generated campaigns and emails. And so what I have, it's kind of, we call it humanizing our text, but I can humanize our text, and it's just going to put a mistake here and there in extra space and such. And what that's going to do is allow the spam filter to say, there's no way AI wrote this. It's got mistakes. And so we're able to kind of sneak through that way. And it's one of those things where for us, it's allowed us to also work on subject lines and edited templates so that we don't get caught up in the easy to get past things of AI generated templates. In order to keep going with this, all I'm going to do is hit next after it's done saving. And what it allows me to do is actually, I'll show you one right here. It allows me to actually then just drag and drop a file in here, which is just drops a file. And then I go through 7 steps and launch that campaign. I can launch any campaign in less than 3 or 4 minutes. And these stores, these are all custom campaigns, but lease maturity, for example, KBB instant cash offers, survey reminders, the unsold ring gauge campaigns. And the really cool thing about the way this was designed is I can have as many assistants as I want. I can have a sales assistant, I can have a service assistant, a separate campaign assistant. I can have an assistant that only does KBB ICO or vehicle acquisition. And what that allows me to do is build different personas for different conversations and different lead sources. So I can have a different conversation going with a different assistant depending on the lead source that came into the CRM. And what that allows us to do is develop different conversations and different personas that are able to communicate. Like, I don't want to treat a lead coming in for an instant cash offer like maybe I do where I find out if someone was checking from my financial vendor, they were checking on their payoff. I mean, we want to treat those as two completely different conversations, two different ways of talking with the customer and building rapport. And so I can have different assistants doing that. And that's allowed us to really be able to, again, be that customization and work within the processes. Now, I know we're doing on what I would normally say at this time is any questions you need, anything I can help with, but I'm just going to kind of give you guys a little bit more of a data dump because I know where people are going to be watching on some of this and make sure I have my contact info out there. I'd love to be able to, if people do have questions, make it easy for them to contact me.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we'll hold questions till the end.
Yep.
Are there more elements that you have to present?
I'm going to show you two more.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Thank you. Our next one is what we call service voice. And what service voice is and again, this is what I think is just truly amazing. We don't want to answer every call in the service department. We've approached this a little differently. We want to pick up after the third ring if a human can't get to the phone. So our main goal is to make sure we don't have a profit leak in the service telephone. But when a human can answer it, that's what we want to have happen. And so this has really been a God save for dealers, like, you know, in peak times in the morning, if the BDC is very busy or advisors are scheduling and people just can't get to the phone, we're able then to pick up that call and help schedule that service. And what's great is for the service team, we keep just a list of everything that's going on, who's been contacted, who hasn't, who's booked an appointment. And so, and I don't think I can get the voice to come through on this way, but I'll show you. I do play the voice for everybody, but also I give you a transcript of each call. So the customer says they want to book a service, they want to do it Monday, March 10th. Her name's Stephanie. She's got a 2024 Volvo, and I will this particular one will send out and confirm the appointment. But also we've booked this for it's already been booked and handled in X time. So this store is we're connected directly into X time. So on those we can automate it. We can see the open slots. We can present the customer with a couple choices, allow that customer to book their service, and then confirm their service is booked for them. And what this has allowed us to do, and this is pretty crazy numbers, you know, off of these guys, for example, the last 1,200 calls, we've booked 426 appointments, converting about 36% of those to just booked appointments. On average, saving this guy's about 97 hours on that and generating about $219,000 in gross for them. And again, we feel a lot of these phone calls would have went to hopefully a voicemail or a competitor, or the customer just would have not called back. So now we're not letting any of the customers slip through. In the case they don't want to book an appointment, I don't want to ever be confrontational. So you can see in some of these, customer just wants information. I'm gonna just ask the customer, hey, what can I do to help? Do you want to be book an appointment, or would you like to talk to a person? We don't have anybody available right now, but I'm going to take your information and get a hold of you so that, again, we're giving that customer that they don't get frustrated. They know we're going to have somebody contact them. We've got a better way of logging it now, but we also let them know, hey, within 2 minutes, I can help you just set up a digital appointment. And we have a lot of takers on that. So that's worked out extremely well. And I won't go too deep into it, but we do the same thing for parts. This is really mainly aimed at larger metro stores where they have a lot of tickets getting through with service and parts getting backed up, where we can answer the phone for parts also. And
Amazing.
with that, John, I've been watching the time. I'm like 10 seconds short of 20 minutes. That was my demo and my spiel. Again, just to kind of bring it all together. It's just, kind of combining a lot of different tools you saw here today that are available in the marketplace in one platform, at one amazing price. Because again, we run a little smaller team, a little leaner, and so we get some advantages when it comes to price and market.
Excellent. Amazing demo. Thank you so much. And thanks for staying on time, David. The quick question on the reputation radar button at the top. Is
Yeah.
that just to monitor your reputation for voice AI communications, or is that like a review platform?
Thank you. It can do both, but right now we're just
Okay.
monitoring what's going on
Okay.
a constant basis and
Uh-huh.
notifying the dealer or BDC or whoever through a alert system. I glossed right over that. Thank you
Cool.
so much for bringing it up.
No, no.
And be able to show them their latest alerts. And then we've built it a couple of different ways. I can have the AI. We find a couple of things through a lot of research. I want to answer my reviews regardless. If somebody leaves me a review, I want to thank them for a review or answer the review or tell them, hey, how can we be better? How can we do better for you? And we can have AI writing review answers, or we can have give you some suggestions and have somebody at the store doing it. The other thing we do also is during our CSI uh, emails, we can hook that into Reputation Radar. So if the customer wants to give us a review, if anything with 4 or 5 stars, I'll give them the opportunity to post it to Google, Cars.com, Car Gurus, Dealer Rater, excuse me, anywhere they want. If it's less than a 4, I'll thank the customer for the review and then send it right to the dealer, not give them the option, so that the dealer has a chance to fix that before it goes to a review site. So it can do a little bit of both, but it's built to be able to monitor your reputation in a constant manner. Kind of has the old World War II radar look to it, So the blips go off as the good ones, and then the orange ones are ones that maybe need a little bit of critical help. But yeah, we've been doing this now for several months, and it's really been eye-opening because a lot of times dealers just didn't know these reviews are happening all the time out there, and now we're kind of scouring the internet. The other thing that we scour when we're doing these, we also look for your reputation. So we're going to Indeed, places like this, Glassdoor, and seeing what your employees are saying about you also, and being able to bring that to your attention so you don't have to be constantly doing it yourself.
Yeah, incredible. Curious, what's your background and what inspired you to create this? Are you on the dealer side? Have you been in the vendor side for a while? Are you new to the industry?
Sure. No, I started my career right after the military in retail. Worked in retail about almost 10 years to a new car sales manager, and I was assistant GM. And then I got onto the vendor side very early, and worked for several vendors, but I've always been on the internet side. So when Cobalt before CDK, we were putting websites into dealerships and selling people their URLs, and then I followed that up with lead management, CRM. Worked with the team, when they built VIN solutions and with Reynolds and Reynolds, and then I've been with Conversica the last 10 years, which is kind of one of those. We were kind of one of the pioneers in the AI piece, and what I noticed is, especially after COVID, the tools were coming back around so fast, and we're getting so good. And I didn't have any legacy tech debt, so we were able to build something fresh from the ground. Um, rapidly and lean and be able to combine a lot of the things I've been wanting to put in for a number of years. So all of them are good companies. Obviously, all the vendors in the space do amazing jobs at what they do. We just want to do it a little bit different and put it all into one.
Yeah, that tech debt and startup speed is so massive in this new AI era because of the fact that dealers are wondering, why aren't my current vendors like developing this feature and this feature and this feature? The reality is they just can't,
Right.
because it's not like you can just click a button and have it be done. It's
Right.
Vin Solutions can't just add AI to their CRM overnight. Now, can they eventually? Yes. Most likely they'll actually start over and then build up. And then now you also don't know if a company like Cox Automotive is even interested in doing something like that.
Right.
They'd rather have these tech companies, people like you, build the stuff. They're going to eventually acquire one of these things or a couple of these, and then it becomes more native. And honestly, that's most of the time when they kill that vendor.
No,
It's
a
that,
100%. No, you've seen the game played out many times. It sounds like.
yeah.
One of the things we've been able to do, which has been, again, I just use it as one small example. We'll approach a company and say, hey, we want to integrate with you. They'll send us over an API spec. By late in the afternoon, we've got it written and done,
Mhm.
and are testing. And that used to be months and months and months. Like
Yeah.
even with Reynolds and Fortellis and these guys, who have predominantly in the past have taken a long time. They've also got their API strong game now, and so we're able to do these these kind of things that used to take a very long time for a vendor to come onto the main stage and be able to play with everybody, and now we can accomplish those things very rapidly.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to ask the number one question that I know all dealers already have. There's a lot of conversational AI right now, and everybody's wondering, how does this communicate with my CRM? Like, so far we haven't. You mentioned that you showed something that's integrated with Vin Solutions, but what does it look like in Vin Solutions? Where is the lead? How is the sales rep actually avoiding that lead, because it sounds like the AI is responding to it? And then once the appointment's set, how is that actually communicating and setting that appointment back inside of the dealer's
Yeah,
CRM?
great question. So we're following the business rules in Vin. All of the CRMs are similar in one way, and that is we can't really build a new record. So the record that's in there, we follow the business rules. And so and nowadays it's gotten very, Cox has done a good job. I'll use Vin as the example of automating processes versus having to change statuses, for example, right? So every time that status or process changes, we read that right away. And what it does is, and that's a great question, John. If the salesperson gets a hold of the customer right away and that status changes to contacted, for example, the AI won't even reach out, because we don't want to reach out over the top of the customer or over the top of the salesperson. I want to augment, not step on toes. And so if that status changes within the process of that relationship, customer comes in for an appointment, any of those things, it's going to turn off. I'm noting in the note field attached to the customer record everything that's kind of taking place and what's said. I think we all do it similar in that regard, as far as having the visibility for the salesperson to see what's being said and how it's being said. And also, though, one of the main things is, again, not trying to get in front or in the middle of any of that process. So a lot of times the dealer is very protective of that relationship. We've spent a lot of money getting that lead in. We've got them contacted. Now we've got them in process or in the sales funnel. I want to put my best foot forward. So even and this is the cool thing about the new conversational AIs, they understand conversation. It's not a decision tree if then type of thing. They can get intent and sentiment. So if the customer says, "Hey Dave, I'm already working with John on this," the AI will just say, "You know what? John's who you should be working with. I'm gonna let you guys do your thing." And then and it'll step out of the conversation, and that's been a very big deal. giving visibility to the conversation, but also getting out of the conversation and getting over to a human in a timely manner.
Yeah, incredible.
Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough for the opportunity. I've said this a lot, and it sounds a little cliche, but coming into this marketplace the way we did, I mean, I've been in the market for 30 years, in this space, but coming in with our own company and our own technology, like I said, pretty proud of it, but I feel like we've got one of the coolest products that nobody's ever heard of. So having entrepreneurs like me on a show like this, I can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, I'm super happy that you found us and came onto this show. Honestly, we've seen a bunch of these things, and I will say that yours is one of the most best built out, I think. It doesn't feel super clunky. I really like how a lot of the steps in the process are thought through. I do know there's some other platforms that are very comparable, but
Yeah.
I think you're right up there with the rest of them. So amazing job building that, David.
That means a ton. I can't thank you enough. Thanks, you guys.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much. We will, well, let me edit that out. Really quick, I'm going to edit this whole piece out, but don't log off. I forgot to tell you that right beforehand.
good.
So
All
I'm
right.
going to say goodbye, but just stay on because the video has to upload.
Sounds good, man. Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for viewing. If you need to reach out to David, actually, David, could you just speak your email or any way that you should reach out, whether it's the website or email address?
Yeah, I love it. It's dmarod. You can see my last name up there, DMAROD at silentpartner.ai. Or if you go to contactor.ai, and it's kind of funny, it's got two T's ER. All of our contact information's there, and if anybody'd like to see a demo, we love doing that. So this has been super fun, and I can't thank you guys again enough, and would love to give some demos to some folks out there if they like to see it in person.
Excellent. And if you like conversations like this, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also join our Facebook group, AI and Automotive. That's how we got connected with David, and we're getting connected with a lot of AI enthusiasts in the automotive space and seeing what they're doing now, so that way we don't get left behind. Oh, I'll see you later.
Thanks, John.